This week is all about creating art for dance. And this Nutcracker is exactly how it all began, actually, where I was doing a Nutcracker performance and we were doing a promotion and we were asked to create art out of recycled materials. This poor guy did actually have legs and arms at one point, but unfortunately he's from my high school days, so I needed to go find them. But that Nutcracker led me to create this hat, which is actually made out of an old ice cream container that I refabricated and turned into Drosselmeyer's hat. This next one is a soldier hat that we used, in which case it's actually made out of a coffee can. Again, the entire premise was taking something old and making something new out of it. And this is something that we do often in theater, and us at E.P.I.C are no different. Our yellow submarine from our first year's recital, those windows are high lids, and that eye was a recycled plastic container that I had that obviously I had painted. Our chicks and bunnies were made out of egg cartons that again I painted and redecorated to look as they do now. And again, it was meant to take something old, turn it into something new, and have a fun decoration for our lobby for the holidays. This was one of our bride's dresses in one of our shows, but she was a zombie bride or a corpse bride of sorts, and this was originally a wedding dress that I had redone to make it look like she just crawled out of the ground. This was actually a jello mold that I had painted, and even though it's not the exact setup, it was just kind of stacked on top of the other wig. It was all for the same dancer, and it's just something, again, taking a different object and repurposing it. This is our spider headpiece, in which case this was actually a bouquet of flowers that I had already stripped, and this was what was left over. And so I added some material and created a web out of it. This headpiece was quite the challenge, and it's actually several containers that I had curled and painted and attached together, and it's a pretty heavy and beefy headpiece to work with for especially the dancer that wore it. This was made out of a cardboard tube as well as a recycled plastic container, and even the handle to use this prop was created all out of recycled materials that had been repainted and repurposed. These were our bin of bracelets that we have that have been actually repurposed from like tubes and from a lot of tape rolls and stuff like that, and like ribbon rolls, and they've just been repurposed with tulle and flowers and such. This honey container was from a laundry detergent container, and this prop actually caused me a lot of struggle trying to create, but I thought the end result was pretty cool, and it still represented the honey pot that I needed. Our banner that we've used sometimes for parade and other events was actually created out of just a cover-up sheet that I had, and I restitched it, repurposed it, and painted it so it had our logo. Many objects that have our logo on it were actually hand painted, especially like our doorways and stuff like that. This rain set was actually created by braiding plastic bags together as stuffing, so it had the stiffness that we needed for reins and it gave it the appearance that we needed. These wands I think are one of my favorites. They were actually created out of bamboo sticks that were paper mache and different details with hot glue, and then painted So each one was individual. None of the wands are at all alike. I hope you enjoyed this, and we want to see you get creative and create your own art for dance. Tomorrow, we're actually going to talk about a new art piece, and I will see you then.